All right, everyone. So sorry for being 2 days late on this. So this is what I wanted to talk about for the main thing on this episode. Somebody who I believe is an ex-Muslim was responding to me in a way where they thought I was dumb. Not just the response, but me. You see it later. They talk about it many times. And they even say later, when I mentioned somehow he found out I'm a YouTuber, he said something like, and I said it somewhere, we're in deep trouble as a ex-Muslim, group if that's the case. Anyway, so to talk about what he was responding to first, I guess I'll just read this again. So a lot of times Muslims say, what's your proof against Islam? And I don't know about most, but there's many ways to reply to this. And one thing I've been contemplating is, what they consider to be proof against Islam, or let's see. And one thing I was considering is that things change over time. It's not about the time, though. Things change as we learn regarding what constitutes proof. So if you consider murder cases, at one point in time in the US, let's say 1960s or 70s too, there was no using DNA tests in murder cases. And there was a time before, I think the 60s, they weren't even a thing. Well, I don't know when it started. But at some point, murder cases didn't involve DNA tests, and then they did. And it took two steps. First, scientists had to discover how to do it, and then judges and lawyers had to figure out how to use them in murder cases. So if we consider the question, what would you consider proof against a theory or the theory that somebody committed murder in a particular murder case? The answer would be different before and after DNA evidence was invented and then started to be used in murder cases. So bring it back to the point here regarding the question, what's your proof against Islam? I need to ask them, what do you consider proof against your theory? Somebody, similar to somebody committed murder. In this case, it would be Islam. And more importantly, do you want to improve on that? Do you want to improve what counts as proof in the similar way to how courts improved what counts as proof? And then another question to ask too is, when the courts started using DNA evidence, they didn't do it all at once. There were early adopters and there were late adopters. Do you want to be an early adopter or a late adopter? So this person said, dumb response, burden of proof is on the Muslim, not the atheist. So, and by the way, I want to say, there's lots of, I want to explain why I'm even talking about this at all. This person is trolling me. And even if you don't count it as trolling, it's bad faith effort. So to explain why, just some basic things here. I mean, he's trying to make a good point here. He's trying to make a point here. So you can't say this is 100% bad faith. This part is bad faith. But because there was some good part, it's worth engaging with. So I ask, why do you believe that? Not this dumb part, but, well, maybe all of it. And then I said, don't you think it's dumb to not say this explanation in your first comment? This is maybe going too far in this first comment, but I was just trying to have a parallel to this, because I'm also at the same time trying to get him to explain what this is with this question. I also want him to stop thinking this is the way to go by showing him he did one. And I wonder if it would have been better if I did this, but and maybe we'll look at that right now. But so let's see here. Oh, I gotta check something real quick. Oh, I didn't even share my screen. Sure. Let's do there. So let's see, how am I going to do this? This thing's right in front of my face. What if I move the camera? Good. All right. So they replied, it's dumb because you're falling victim to a classic burden reversal. So he's just saying this again without explaining more details. This is not like adding the word classic doesn't make it more explanatory. This word reversal is implied by what he said here without any explanation or about why it's incorrect. This is just saying you're reversing something. It's not saying why the reversal is wrong. Your response also sounds extremely pretentious by trying to complicate something that is supposed to have a very simple answer. He doesn't even say which thing is pretentious. But anyway, I don't care about this because he's adding it as a new piece of information during the discussion. He's not, well, okay, now he's making it sound like he thinks this is a dumb response for two reasons, this and this. So I said, you're still not explaining anything. You're just repeating phrases you've heard. Maybe this is harsh, but that is what he's doing. He heard these things from other people. And he hasn't provided an explanation of why this is a problem or why it's an obstacle to anything. He's kind of just like saying the name of a mistake instead of explaining what the mistake is. I said, maybe you actually have an explanation in your head, but you have not provided it. And you notice here, I'm not doing this again. There's no reason. I mean, like, I already did it once. I don't need to do it again. That's enough. So he said, sure, buddy, I'll help spoon feed you. So now he's increased the trolling, like he escalated. He said, firstly, the question, what's your proof against Islam, already has a false assumption. He's not answering the question now. He's answering another question that nobody asked. He's not dealing with this, what he initially said. This answers something else, which isn't part of the discussion. Okay, never mind. He is answering it. He's saying already has a false assumption. By entertaining such a question and asking them what kind of proof they're looking for, you are making an implicit acknowledgement that their right of questioning is valid. In other words, you are conceding to a false assumption that you hold a burden of proof. What did I say here? Yeah. So, secondly, your response question is redundant. Asking what considered proof isn't going to yield any productive response beyond depends on the theory. So he totally got confused on this. When I said this, I was just replicating the form of this. And in parentheses, I said somebody committed murder. So the corollary or the parallel here is Islam. Can I edit this? No. Not sure why you would ask a question as generalized as that. So they got confused. A better response question would be, what kind of evidence would disprove Islam for you? Which is what I meant. And none of this is the point. None of this is about the burden of proof thing. And by the way, another by this whole thing is a by the way, and here's another by the way. Your DNA example does not provide any meaningful commentary. That's why I called it pretentious. See, when he said that I said something pretentious, he didn't even say it was a DNA example. See? So I say in reply to his first point, you're just defining what a burden of proof is. You're not saying why it's bad or wrong. And then he later got confused. Well, you'll see it. I said, your spoon feeding is messing up. You got the food all over my face instead of in my mouth. So this is me escalating on the anti-trolling now. I want him to stop trolling, or at least with these stupid insults, by taking the insult, shoving it back in his face in a worse way. It's worse because he's using a metaphor that he's not adding any details to it, no creativity, no originality. And here I am taking his metaphor and explaining how it actually doesn't fit the situation. This takes more creativity than what he did. He or she, whatever. So when any sentence I say, I don't want you, if you think it's something dumb, I want you to first think, maybe you misunderstood. Maybe you misunderstood because I didn't say something exactly the way perfectly I should have said, but I'm not fucking perfect. So you should expect that to happen on my side. And then on your side, you should try to adjust. If we were in the same room talking, it would have been resolved really easily. But because it's in writing, it's more difficult. And look, right now, I can't even go edit the post. So he said, my DNA example doesn't provide any meaningful commentary. That's why he calls it pretentious. But he also didn't explain why it's not meaningful. And I did explain why it's meaningful. So he's not explaining what's wrong with it. He said, not sure if you're trying to make an analogy or what. Maybe it's you that needs to provide explanations first. I said I provided it in the OP. He said, burden of proof is neither bad or wrong. They got confused again. What I was referring to was the reversal, which he's claiming is a mistake. This is fucking stupid. That they thought I meant the burden of proof is a mistake rather than the reversal of it. And I know what I fucking wrote here. He knows what I wrote, but he also knows I'm not perfect. Can you follow the fucking discussion? Now he's explaining something here, finally. The claim is that the Muslim is the one that holds the burden. If you disagree with this, here's the explanation part. If you disagree with this, then he's saying a cause and effect statement here. Then the logical entailment here is that you have to accept every religious claim in history as a starting point. So you just don't have a response to my objection. He never gave this objection before. This is the first time, which is why you are desperately trying to stall the conversation by claiming I haven't explained anything. You see the cheating here? He hadn't said it yet. This is the first time he's saying it. Otherwise, you would have provided an objection to my claim now. I can't provide an objection to a claim that wasn't even made. Here's what people do. They fucking guess what the objection is, or because they've heard it in other discussions before, like I've had this discussion before about burden of proof a million times. He's kind of like imagining I never have. It's like he's expecting me to put in the discussion what I've heard from other people about burden of proof and just assume that's what he thinks. He said when I said that's what I meant, he goes, it is linguistically impossible for the question. Linguistically impossible. He's making up shit here too. Did he get a degree in linguistics or take any classes? I'm guessing no. Maybe they did. Anyway. He's missing this basic point of I misspoke. I'm not fucking perfect. And it's ridiculous that he's not even getting that here. Like he's never heard of fallibility or something. He's seeing it as if I made a mistake in a sentence, it can't be because I misspoke. It has to be because I meant that idea that he's imagining I meant. He says, you're just embarrassing yourself now. So to that part about the DNA example, he's saying now, you brought up the example, but you did not offer an explanation for how the analogy connects. If you think I'm wrong, then quote the exact part that you believe explains it. You've been demanding explanations from me. Now it's your turn to return the favor. This is a lie right here. I didn't demand explanations from him. The way it started was he said, I'm dumb. And I said, don't you think it's dumb for you to not explain? That's a question, not a demand. I think I'm going to reply to that. I should probably reply to the other things. Yeah. Like this. At least I'll go back to this. Man, that would be a lot of things to be replying to, though. Nah. That's too many things. All or none. I said, you're confused. You're claiming I'm making a mistake, and you're not explaining how it's a mistake. You're just saying how I made the burden of proof mistake without explaining why it's a mistake. This is what I meant. This is what I'm clarifying for him. To the part, otherwise you would have provided an objection to my claim by now. I said, no, I don't work that way. I'm not going to provide an objection to a claim that doesn't have an explanation. And I know he has provided it so far, but we're talking about when it wasn't provided. I said, I don't give a fuck what's linguistically impossible. What I care about is that you steel man what I'm saying instead of not doing that. And what this means here is you recognize that sometimes I can misspeak and that you can get over that hurdle without my help. You're just embarrassing yourself at this point. I'm not embarrassed. And if I'm wrong and you teach me, that's also not embarrassing. That you find it embarrassing shows a flaw in you, for your information. Where here he's saying, now he's demanding an explanation from me because I was demanding explanations from him, which I wasn't. And I say, well, I don't think it makes sense to start a new project. We're doing a few projects already, and he keeps adding more. He said, are you going to adjust the part where I said your position logically entails that you accept? Okay, so he does recognize that this is an explanation, and that, does he remember, that's not what he said in the beginning, where he was claiming he was explaining. He hadn't said this yet. He says, no, you're not going to address it because you don't have a response. So that's not what was happening. I didn't respond. My guess is because he's throwing 50 stupid things at me and I missed the smart thing. It's difficult when you're trolling someone to deal with a fucking troll. This is just misunderstanding me. I think I am going to reply to all these things. Maybe I'll go from newest to oldest instead of the other way. Where are we? Yeah. So he ignores what I say here about projects. And he says I'm doing an emotional rant. So I took the explanation part. Why would it do that? Can you explain? Please quote what I said and explain how it means that I accept every religious claim in history as a starting point. And by the way, others have complained about the burden of proof thing. And I asked them to explain, and they did. And I easily explained why they're wrong. Here's one example. I wanted to do this because I knew he wasn't reading any of the other comments. So I wanted to show him one of them, one of those subthreads. I said, maybe you can benefit from reading that. I said, you think I'm emotional? Why? Because you think I should be embarrassed? That's my guess. Like, he thinks he would be emotional. He thinks he would be embarrassed if he was in my position. So he assumes I am embarrassed, and therefore that's emotional. So I said, with you getting confused about my emotional state, I'm guessing it doesn't make sense to start another project with you. He said, don't worry, I'll walk you through the logic flow as you seem to be mentally stunted. So here's another insult. Let's see, I'm going to go a little bit faster and just go to my replies. Let's see, I didn't even reply to this. Let's see. Yeah. I think I didn't reply to it because I contradicted easily with this. So let's see, he said, quite embarrassing. You tried to claim that jinn don't exist. Oh, so he's replying to that other subthread. And the guy made a good point. Even if he agrees, you cannot actually prove the non-existence of jinns, which makes your claim meaningless. So that's not what happened. So what he revealed is that he totally misunderstood that other discussion. And he says here, instead of addressing his critique, you simply said those people will do that for anything, which is correct. When people will make up shit, the people say it in this group all the time, mental gymnastics, that works on anything. And this is incorrect. So he says, so yes, I did benefit from reading it. And yes, he did. It reaffirmed my belief that you are not cut out for philosophical discourse. So he totally missed the point about you're ignoring the others understood me. Others in this thread have seen that I misspoke and adjusted on their end and closed the gap from their end. This person isn't doing that. And they said, frankly, you're acting very much like a Muslim. You're not engaging with my points and instead trying to avoid them as much as possible. Very Muslim-like behavior. So I say to the quite embarrassing, there you go with the embarrassing nonsense again. I told you, if I'm wrong and you teach me, that's not embarrassing. That's good. It means I learned. And again, the fact that you think it's embarrassing shows a flaw in you. He's ignoring this. And this is bigger, really, than the other things, because this blocks everything else. If you're embarrassed, that discourages you from asking more questions and being curious and learning more. I said, so now please don't ignore this and repeat again that I did something embarrassing, or at least explain to me why I'm wrong about what I said above. Now, this is starting a new project, but this project is trying to fix the other ones. It's like a bottleneck. So to the thing he said about jinn, I said, jinn are not real. They are superstition. They are non-falsifiable theories. That means they are false. This is basic epistemology that all scientists understand. And it's why scientists throw out all superstitions all in a single argument. If you want to learn about non-falsifiable theories, let me know, and I will give you a few of my Reddit posts and YouTube videos explaining it. And so he responded to the embarrassing thing. Well, here's the thing. Your responses are indeed embarrassingly bad. I can pretend they're not, but it's not pretending. I told you why you're wrong. That would require me to lie. But I told you why you're wrong. This does not logically follow. Let's try putting this in a syllogistic form. When people do this kind of shit, you have to be really good to do this kind of stuff. And this person isn't. And I dare you to give me one well-known, he dares me to give him one well-known scientist that says a theory being non-falsifiable means the theory is automatically false. This is so dumb. All of them. This is how they get rid of superstitions. That's all. And I said that already, and he's missing the point. And they said, secondly, the field of science is not equal to the field of philosophy. So here's a big confusion he has. Empiricism is wrong, by the way. There's so much shit being misunderstood. So I decided we need to escalate. I'm going to do a live stream. I welcome you to join. And they say, there's no way you are a YouTuber, man. If this is the caliber of individual representing ex-Muslims on social media, then we are surely doomed. There's no way? Let that be a lesson for you. There is a way. And the lesson here is, hey, you were wrong. You need to learn a lesson from this. There's a lot of wrong things here. So I'm going to start replying now. Let's see. What should I start with? Should I go to the top again? Maybe that's better. Go to the top. I should have just clicked full discussion. Would have been there by now, I bet. So there's going to be so many replies. How do I do it? Individually? Group them? Maybe each one. Put a little bit of commentary. Oh, P.S. I'm live now. Come join. Let me do that share thing. Okay, so So this comment has, it starts with an insult, but then has some worthwhile content. Partly good faith, partly bad faith. I'm going to get my post. Hold on one second, guys. I'm going to get my post that explains that. Where is that? Here we go. Oh, that's not it. Shit. Let's see if it's this one. Nope. Let's try this one. Nope. This one. Nope. I didn't find it yet. Let's see. Man, I so want to find it. I want to put a link. Good faith, bad faith. Maybe I should just do this. Here's some explanation on how I think about this kind of so let's see. Should I reply to him? Maybe I should be replying to my own comment. No. To engage with the good faith part, I asked him, why do you believe that? To engage with the bad faith part, I asked him if he thinks to not already provide the explanation. Like, why make me ask? Let's see. So let's see. Telling me that I did a classic burden reversal does not explain why it's a mistake. Why I made a mistake, or what the mistake is. It's only a description of a name of the mistake. I asked you, okay, it's not an explanation of the mistake. Read the pretentious thing. You lied. You lied in a later comment. You should I talk about that? Am I going to talk about everything? It wasn't a lie, it's just she didn't provide an explanation. Your second and third points are being added into this discussion while they have nothing to do with the main point about burden of proof. Second, we're fallible. We sometimes misspeak. It's the job of the listener to recognize that and try to jump the gap on their own without the help of the speaker. That's what I meant by that's what I meant when I said that everybody else understood me. They jumped the gap. They recognized that I misspoke. And then they corrected the misunderstanding that I caused. Things on their end. Third point. You're now explaining stuff that you should have explained in your first try. In like the last comment. No. Right there, their second comment. Let's see. This is stupid. You should have known that I meant the burden of proof reversal. You should have known that I misspoke, and you should have jumped the gap yourself. But here I have to spoon feed you. Let's see. I don't want to explain everything. It'll be way too much. Let's see. This is the first time you explained why the burden reversal is bad or wrong. But you were presenting yourself as if you had explained that previously. You were lying about that, or yeah. You did not make an honest judgment about whether or not you had explained the mistake that you claimed I made. This is fucking stupid. You started the whole discussion with dumb response. Do you think anybody is going to engage with you in a really great way when you start with being a fucking asshole? Do you think anybody's going to engage with you in a really great way when you litter your comments, especially the first one, with you being a fucking asshole? I'm not telling you to pretend. I'm telling you that you're wrong. If you learn why you're wrong, then you wouldn't be pretending. It's so stupid that you thought otherwise. Did he ever respond to the djinn? He did this. Well, he didn't ask me anything. What the fuck? That's all stupid. What you need to do here is ask me for here we go. Do you know what a non-falsifiable theory is? Let's see. All right. I think that's enough for this post. Do what? Oh. Anyway, I'm going to go look through my saved. I'll reply to this later. Not doing videos. This is good. Yeah. I think we can all agree that Abrahamic religion has inherent violent texts and scriptures, yet Islam is the one that adheres to these violent principles the most. Could it solely be tied to socioeconomic factors? That's not the main point. Main point is, can it be reformed? I'm hoping they reply. They'll ask, how has it been reformed? I'm going to mention nobody cuts hands off anymore. And there's no more slavery. questions or doubts about Islam? Offer a question, although the convo must be argument-free. So this is a Muslim. I don't think anyone... What is this? Okay, so he's done this before. This is Corral, the person who was on my first podcast, I think, and multiple of them. So he gave them a lot. But they're not questions. Holy moly. Really big, long paragraphs. Oh, God, I don't want to do that. How about this? Why do you believe in Islam? This is my signature question. Okay. Fear of haram food. Still can't eat meat. That's not halal. So they're scared they'll get sick. Even though they know, like, it wouldn't, like the science. So they do care about it. They're saying, I don't really care about it, but it came up in their brain. For somebody that doesn't care about it, they wouldn't say it. Not in their brain and not right here in the internet. They said, really? Don't really care about it. Don't know. I'm not sure how to help, but I'll try. You're right about U.S. Fast food and also processed foods at the grocery store. It's so tasty. Let's see. Suppose you ate at home when nobody was watching. Would your hijab? Would wearing hijab while eating non-halal matter? I'm not going to say that part. At least not now. Okay. My Muslim friend is struggling. I wish I can help her. Does she actually use the word perfect? If so, just reply this. Who's perfect? Then don't say anything. Wait until she answers. Until she says something. Okay. Is anyone else terrified for their safety? Wearing hijab since she was 1? Why do you care? Why do you care what stupid people think? Serious question, not rhetorical. Do you guys still believe in God? Just curious when you guys listen now since you left Islam. Do you believe in different religion now? Are you agnostic, atheist? Atheist. But don't you care about more than that? Like morality? Like they did say religion. So they didn't care more than that, yeah. So let's go get my Let's see. Okay. Yeah, that sucks. Why are you not opening? Okay. Hey, I'm kind of agnostic, but I feel scared to leave this religion. I want to. This religion traumatized me back then. First, recognize that it's an issue of beliefs, thoughts. Here's how. Recognize that it's an issue of beliefs and thoughts first, and then your feelings come second. So you have to change your beliefs and thoughts. But not just the beliefs, but also the methods by which you hold, you judge beliefs, adopt and hold beliefs. Let's see, okay. It also doesn't negate moral errors. I'm remembering this post. Why do people get angry when I tell them I'm not a Muslim? So I had replied twice. They asked why people get angry. They're angry because they choose to get offended by your existence. Your existence is like, okay, so first of all, they have the mindset of a tribalist. Like you shouldn't go against your tribe. And you're going against your tribe. Your tribe is Muslims or Arab, whatever the fuck you are. I don't know. Anyway, it's very contradictory. This person said, I finally left Islam. They said, I left in 2018, but I convinced myself I was still Muslim. And I didn't know what they meant by that. So I asked, or I said, I'm curious. They said, I basically stopped believing in Islam, and I knew there was no heaven or hell, that everything according to religion was wrong. But I started telling myself, this is the devil, and he's tricking me, and tried to force myself back into Islam. I was just in denial. What's the force mean? How to force yourself? You mean like going? You mean like praying so that the devil would stop making you doubt Islam? Like, I don't know what people mean by force themselves to do that. That's not what I wanted. Oh. Doubts about Islam. This is fucking retarded. So did I. Holy shit. Oh shit. Did they reply ever? So let me get to a better point here. Suppose it is a sign of whatever. Does that mean you should ignore all the evil shit in Islam? I want to leave my country, Saudi Arabia. Best ask in I want out. I haven't seen that one. Kazakhstan? Yeah, I don't know. Somebody messaged me. I can't look at that right now. We're back to being a Muslim after having apostated. Why do you believe in Islam? Thanks to the Taliban, I'm starting to dislike Islam. Cool. Look at something real quick. Wow, I get a lot of comments. I might look at that later. Ex-Muslims who are married to a liberal or non-practicing Muslim. How is it going? Okay. Somebody's replying really well. Okay. Oh. Le Recep. Yes. Why do people get angry when I tell them I'm a bot? Yep, I remember doing that one. I want to kill myself feeling lost. Domestic violence. Yes. Nobody's replying. They didn't reply. This is Corral, my buddy, on my podcast. That's a dumb joke. Anxious whenever entering a mosque. I think I'm going to stop for now and continue tomorrow. All right, everyone. See you next time.